What's happening, financial coaches? It's Pete here. I want to kind of give you a little pitch on why you should be making videos or putting out content. This is, writing for your blog, putting posts on your Facebook page. Some of the coaches that I have met here are really good about this. It doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to be a plethora I've heard too, but I've always said a plethora, but I've heard some people say plethora. But a plethora of content. The more you put out, the more opportunities you have to be discovered, the more content you'll have out there as your CV, your resume, so people can judge you. But really the big piece of that is, one, to be discoverable, but two, because more people are doing research about people that they hire than ever before. And I was actually looking at some of the numbers about how people do research before making a purchase decision, right? And it was surprising to me that the vast majority of people out there will do some sort of research, even on purchases and consumption that you think is kind of trivial. The number of people that will go out and read 3 or 4 Yelp reviews before hiring a bakery to bake them a cake, right? I mean, maybe all 4 of your local bakeries will do an equally good job of baking the cake, but they want to read those comments. They want to see some of the pictures. For example, for me, actually, when I switched dentists, so when I moved to my current house, I wanted to move dentists because I was actually still seeing my dentist that lived down the city, which is about an hour from here, and I just wasn't going to do that anymore. And one of the things that I really wanted to see was, are they updating their Facebook page? Are they updating their website? Do they have pictures out there? Do I know what the dentist looks like other than just the name that comes in the listing? There are many dentists that were in my Blue Cross Blue Shield portal, but what I really wanted to know was, is he on the verge of retirement, or is she just out of school, or whatever it might be? It's not necessarily any of those things are good or bad. Did this person have a legacy plan, a second doctor so that someone could take emergencies? Were they really passionate about their position? And what I actually found was the dentist that I went with had a nice post on his website about his hobbies, and actually had a picture of him fishing. You can go up to Wisconsin, get some pretty big fish. I think it was a muskie or a walleye or something like that. I don't remember. But, he just talked about how, his 2 big passions were being a dentist and being the best dentist he could be, as well as enjoying his time out on the lake fishing. And so I just felt like that connection, saw a picture of him. He's a nice guy. But I felt like before I went into my first dental cleaning or exam or whatever you call it with him, is that I kind of had an idea of who he was. Now, I'd never had heard his voice or anything like that, but it's very much that dentist bedside manner that you would expect. But I felt like there was a little bit of an established relationship. I had some expectation of what to expect going into it. At least I generally knew what he looked like. I generally knew what his education qualifications were and how long he'd been in the business. So, there wasn't an interview period, right? The interview period was the research. Now, you think about hiring someone to bake your cake, or finding a new dentist, some of these things that aren't that consequential in life, and the amount of research that people do. And I don't remember what the numbers were, but it was crazy. Something like even on inconsequential decisions, 70% of people do preliminary research before making a purchasing decision. Now you think about this, fast forward to hiring a financial coach of any type that is going to be involved in your life personally, understanding your finances, the good and bad about your life, maybe some of your bad behavioral tendencies, whatever it might be, and saying, hey, I'm going to hire someone out of pocket. This isn't even covered by insurance. I'm going to spend my own hard-earned money. It might be someone who's going to talk right to me, talk to my soul, talk about my problems, whatever. It might be kind of hard stuff to listen to, a little tough love sometime. And you think, who am I going to entrust with that relationship? Am I not going to want to, one, make sure that they're competent, but are they confident in what they do, and are they compassionate about what they do? And, can they work with me? Are we compatible? So one of those things that I think a lot of people do in the financial coaching world is just go out there and Google them. Do they have a site? Is this something that they do? Or, should I be worried that, maybe their profession is HVAC. Maybe they don't really have a passion for financial coaching, and as far as I can tell, they're getting into it because they're looking for an extra source of income. Or does this person maybe work in HVAC, but just has a passion for personal finance? They wanted something more for their life, for their loved ones, for their family and friends, and so they've really embraced it, right? Maybe that sells me on it. Maybe they came from the world of financial services or law or mortgages or banking or whatever it might be, and so they're an expert. They are very knowledgeable about all the tactics. And that's what I want. I want someone that's just a huge wealth of knowledge, right? Or maybe I want someone who's been through my life events, right? Maybe I'm a single mother, or maybe I am an immigrant, or whatever it might be. And I'm looking for someone who can talk about that journey in life, right? And help me and understand kind of my unique struggles and what makes me me, right? So a lot of times we're just looking, it doesn't necessarily have to be 100% match, but we want to understand them to say, yes, either that person is competent, confident, compatible with me, and I want to hire them, or they're not. And it's not necessarily good or bad, right? I mean, I've had people that prefer to work with other financial coaches. I tend to be pretty direct. I tend to be pretty analytical. Some people want more of like the feeling side of things, or the more empathy, right? And there are financial coaches that skew that way too, and they're great and wonderfully competent and financially informed as well. It's just that that's leaning into their own strengths. So if you don't have that content out there, it's really hard for people to decide if they want to work with you. Or for you. Maybe one day they become a financial coach and join your organization. But it's really hard for them to say, yes, I want to make that purchasing decision if there's a lack of information out there. Now, it can just be your posts on Facebook. It can be your blog or your website, right? You can jam pack a lot of information up there. But I think especially when we're talking about a high touch, one-on-one, conversational type relationship, again, this is where I like video. This is where I like podcast recordings, wherever it might be. You want to write about financial topics and write them in posts, in the written word, blog, posts on Facebook, whatever. I would really encourage you to not make them overly clinical, overly educational, but to put in some of your life experiences, to put in some of your personality so that maybe I can get a taste of what it's like to be you and to work with you, right? Just like my dentist, I don't care if he fishes. He could have said he likes to golf or to hunt or to volunteer with Habitat for Humanity. It's just a little bit of a glimpse into his life that helps me understand who he is as a person. And so the more content you have out there, the better the picture is that you're painting for people. If you don't have much content out there, then it's going to have to be very focused and efficient. But the more you put out there, the more people can read. And again, for me, when I was doing webinars and presentations and seminars and things like this, and I would meet with people, sometimes they would dive in. I didn't know them from Adam, but they had seen me 2 or 3 times. They may have had 4 or 5 hours of my content consumed, and so they felt ready. Hey, I know you, Pete. I know what you do. I know what you focus on. Blah blah. What I've got here is this situation, and I'd say, oh, okay, hold on one second. Let's do some quick introductions. What's your name? What's your name? How long have you been together? A little bit of that rapport building. And a lot of times people said, I'm sorry, I just feel like I know you already. Those types of things. So it's a good thing for people to feel like they have a good idea of who you are. I think it shows that you're genuine too in the content that you're building. But if you can build more content, and I'm not saying force it out. I think one of the worst things that you can do is just copy and paste a bunch of personal finance types of topics and throw them out there. But the stuff that you really believe in, the stuff that has impacted your life, maybe changed your life, that you are sharing with people, and sharing the stories in your life of why they were so impactful. I think that's really important, and that is more. It's more than the education. It's more than putting out information that can actually help people. To me, it's more about putting yourself out there so people can have an idea of who you are, so that they can comfortably hire you. So hopefully that helps. I'll see you later.